Hey y'all, just some words of wisdom about social media on here. If I go longer than what Twitter allows, I'll put this on my actual YouTube page. But I want to talk a bit about the seduction of social media because nobody's immune to it. I fell for it back in my CCC days. Everybody remembered me and my friends constantly going after Bernie Bros and MAGAs to the point where you would tag me in any kind of fight. That's how my reputation grew. Don't I know a lot of you followed me during those times, so don't lie. But honestly, there was a lot of fallout after that. A lot of my friends got burnt out and stopped posting, changed their handles. Some of them don't even talk to me anymore, and it is what it is. Some of them engaged in a lot of fuckery that I got drawn into because we were friends. We were openly friends. And they did things like sexual harass people, harm people, dox people. And because I openly acknowledged them as friends, I got pulled into all that bullshit. So I just want to warn people about being seduced by that follow count. It's fun sometimes. I've had stuff go viral. I've had stuff trend. But you also get a lot of hate. You get a lot of distractors. And you get a lot of arguing. And it can kill your spirit. So all these people who envy big follow numbers, what are you envying? It can be very stressful trying to just hold conversations or share an idea and have a whole bunch of just hateful things in your mentions because you're open target. On top of that, you don't get people who try to check you. You get a lot of sycophants, you get a lot of fans, but when you're looking for friends who will tell you you're messing up, then what? One of the things that I love about social media is that I was able and I'm still making actual friends. Friends that I talk to on and offline because we just have that connection. But it takes being honest about who you are. And it takes being able to say, I'm sorry when we mess up. And I know a lot of us older people mess up because we were raised in different times. A lot of us had silent generation or in between silent and boomer grandparents. We had boomer to Gen X parents, and we're Gen X ourselves because they had us fairly young. We're in a weird in between when it comes to social media. So trying to clout chase could sometimes get to our heads. And that rush of people want to hear what I've got to say, I'm popular, really gets to us. And we do stupid things. And it's okay to mess up. Everybody messes up. But if you mess up and people call you out and the first thing you do is go on the defensive and attack people, you're not a good person. And you're not ready to grow. And you're not somebody that I could call ally. It's as simple as that. The thing that truly woke me up, and I threaded it out a few years back, was the fact that I used to make jokes all the time, especially on Facebook. And I made a joke about body dysmorphia. I had a friend check me on that. And this friend is very dear to me. She was transitioning at the time and she was going through it. And me being the asshole that I really used to be, made a joke about this woman. They did an article about this woman who excessively body builds because she hates what she sees in the mirror. And I don't remember the comment off the top of my head, but it was stupid. It was insensitive. And it was just to get those little hearts on Facebook. And I did. A lot of the people who followed me on Facebook thought, oh, Ten's just funny. She's cutting it up. She's sassy. And only one person, one friend out of everybody who I knew should have known better, who could have checked me that day. And I'll be 100% honest. When I read her comment, my first reaction was anger. I was pissed. How dare she challenge me? I was just making a joke. And then I thought, Ten, you grew up black in a setting where you were surrounded by mostly white kids. You went to school with almost all white kids where you were probably the only black face in your classes most times. You had to put up with jokes. Then you went out into the workforce and you were the only black woman at your job sometimes. And you put up with a lot of jokes, especially in the South. And it hurt, but you really couldn't say nothing because they were just joking. So when I really sat and thought about it and calmed the fuck down and realized that instead of blocking me for being the insensitive dummy, instead of calling me out and cursing me out, they came to me as a human being saying that I hurt them. And I apologized. And I realized what I did was fucked up. And sometimes that's all it takes to salvage your reputation. No Twitter trend, no Facebook popularity, no social media clout is worth your integrity. And people, you have to realize this before it's too late, before you make a big enough fuck up to where that's what people associate you with. Now, we recently, and I know people want us to let this go, had to deal with this on Twitter. But I'm not, because it's still affecting people in my circles. It's affecting the native people in my circles that were blocked. It's affecting a very dear friend of mine who I know rubs people the wrong way sometimes. Deal with it. We are grown people. If somebody's tweeting stuff you don't like constantly, you can mute them. You can ignore them. You can move on. It is so easy to ignore my friends when they go on tangents that I don't personally agree with, as long as they're not being hateful. And I like to think that if somebody calls me a friend and I call them a friend and they say something stupid and insensitive, they take to heart when I say, hey, that ain't it. But I've learned a lot of yous on here only want positive affirmation. You can't stomach critiques. And that's why you can't call black women like me your true friend. Because if you can't take a real talking to when you step out of line or fuck up, you're not a friend. Friends are like sisters. And sisters should be able to come to you and say, hey, you're being hurtful. And you acknowledge that and reflect. And even if you feel deep down that you weren't in the wrong, you didn't mean it that way, have some empathy. It doesn't take much to have some empathy. But some of you just want that popularity. Now, I'm going to hopefully make some more of these. It's definitely way too long to put directly on Twitter. So I will upload this to my YouTube account and then I'll link it. I really do want to do a series of these vlogs about social media, especially for us older folks, because so many of us, we're learning and it's hard to get it right. And I know you like praise and I know you like praising people, and it's fun to be a part of a circle that really amplifies each other. But we can't trade our integrity for popularity. The moment you start doing that, it will come back to bite you. So I'm Tanisa Walker, aka Kalari Gamer Chick on Twitter. You can follow me on here if you want. I really don't post a lot. This account is mostly used by my son now. He watches all kinds of crazy ass videos on it. I do have a YouTube that's set up for my Twitch account once I start doing more stuff on that. So maybe I'll start putting these on there. But for now, I'm going to wrap this up. Thank you for watching it. I really do appreciate y'all's support, but I would appreciate more if I step out of line, my friends tell me about it. Because I can't get better and I can't do better if I'm not going to listen and reflect when I fuck up. That's it.